Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. We're looking forward to the Armagh Miners taking on All Ireland champions Derry this Wednesday evening. And joining us to do so is the new minor manager, Brendan Hughes. Brendan, you have a good CV behind you, and you've been working along with the Orchard Academy for a while now as well. How have preparations been? Looking forward to this Wednesday's game.
Yeah, we're happy with preparation, Sean. We started a trial process in the month of May, and there were 177 players nominated between the clubs and the Orchard Academy, and we whittled that down to the current score of 40. We finished that trial process on the 9th of June, which gave us 7 weeks to get the team ready. And I say we're happy with the preparations. We feel that the boys are ready now for the game on Wednesday.
And is it difficult preparing a team at the minute, Brendan, obviously with COVID and everything that's going on in the world? As you say, you've only had 7 weeks. Probably in a normal year, you would have a couple of months to get a team ready for the first round of the championship.
Yeah, ordinarily you would have more time in terms of bedding systems in, but I knew most of these, well, certainly the players born in 2004, from 2 years ago, they were on an under 15 academy squad that I managed then. So there wasn't really a get to know you basis of that. There was sort of you knew what their strengths and weaknesses are. They're a great bunch of young fellas who have a tremendous attitude. The other players who have come into that from outside the academy and also from the 2005 cohort have applied themselves tremendously well. So from that point of view, it's been straightforward. Albeit you would love to have more time to bed things in, methods of play and systems and stuff. But listen, we are where we are, and we're heading to Owenbeg on Wednesday with a view to doing our Armagh credit justice.
And as I mentioned, Brendan, this is your first year over the county minors. Kieran McKeever had been there for the previous 2 seasons. Tell us a wee bit about your management team. Who have you got in assisting you?
Well, Shane McConville from St Paul's is in, Paul Waters from Killeavy, Brenton Waters Barry Waters from Cullaville, and Brenton Savage from Balleek. Would also have input from Barry O'Hagan and Aaron Kiernan.
Yeah, that seems to be a star-studded lineup you have there.
Well, listen, it's about the players. The players have a lot of potential, and we're doing what we can to facilitate their development.
And obviously, as I said, Brendan are taking on Derry on Wednesday night, who won All Ireland, I think, about 10 days ago. It's strange going in to play the All Ireland champions when they've only won it recently.
Well, that's it. Listen, it's a different set of circumstances than usual. It provides motivation for us to obviously attempt to take on the minor All Ireland champions and compete with them at their level. Now, Derry only have 3 players left from the 2020 squad, which we can't do anything about. Derry can't do anything about. But what we are very aware of is that there's conveyor belt of talent in Derry. They've been in 5 of the last 6 Ulster Minor finals and 2 of the last 4 All Ireland Minor finals. So while it might be different names and faces, I'm fairly sure it'll still be the same standard, Sean.
And Armagh, they've obviously played Derry the last 2 years in the first round of the Ulster Minor Championship. I think 2020 it was 1-7 to late points in favour of Derry, and 2019 was 1-5-4. So close games. And anybody that remembers last year's game against Derry, Armagh were probably marginally the better team. Only the Derry got the goal, and you've seen what happened after that then. So while Derry have the upper hand, maybe in the last couple of years, Armagh haven't been far away.
No, definitely. Listen, Kieran managed the Armagh Miners for 2 years there. Did a tremendous job in terms of producing players and competing with the best teams in Ulster. As you mentioned there, the game in December, it was 1-7 to 8 points. It could have gone either way. And the goal obviously was the critical moment. We have 17 players left who were in last year's squad, 4 of whom played in that match. And let's put it like this, they don't need that much motivation going to this game. They feel they have to right the wrongs last December. That said, it's going to be a very different game, Sean. It's this time it's been played in the heat of the summer as opposed to the depths of the winter. So, what resemblance it bears to December's game remains to be seen.
And does it help having them 17 panel members from last year carrying into this year?
Oh, absolutely. They've done tremendous strength and conditioning work. and obviously had trained at a very high level last year. So what they're doing is they're moving on from that previous level as opposed to coming in as novices. So for them, with their second year on this squad, and they're displaying great leadership and maturity, and as I said, they have a real point to prove.
On this week's games, obviously in Owen Beg, as we mentioned, in 2019 Armagh had home advantage. Last year Derry had home advantage. Derry have home advantage this time again. Bren, does it matter at this age group, or how big is home advantage when it comes to the first round of the championship?
Well, listen, it's the only thing is it's not a pitch that the Armagh players are particularly familiar with. I presume Derry will have played a number of challenge games there or whatever. Other than that, there's the journey obviously on the day, but we'll have that planned accordingly, and make sure that we arrive in plenty of time and we're ready. But one big, as I said, it's very, very big pitch. It's maximum size, and that presents the athletic players with a chance to basically show what they've got.
On this week's game, up against Derry, we mentioned the reigning All-Ireland champions. It's probably been difficult for them. They're maybe trying to train two squads at the same time there over the last couple of weeks and months. The 2020 team that were going well in the All-Ireland Championship, while trying to train the 2021 team as well, preparing for this first round of the championship. It's probably been difficult for them juggling the two.
It probably has, but I would know a few of the Derry management team there, James McNichol and Stephen McGuigan and Darren McShane and that. And listen, these boys are top level coaches. And well, I don't know the manager, Marty Boyle, but obviously he's done a great job. I'm fairly sure that they're well set up and they're well organised. And as I said, they've been more or less producing a conveyor belt of players this last 6 or 7 years, many of whom are now through to the Derry senior team. So, it will have presented us difficulties for them, but at the same time, you would imagine winning the All-Ireland Championship would have given them a great boost in terms of their self-belief and their self-worth. So I would think that they'd be quite happy coming into this game.
I suppose we've seen the Armagh senior team. They've obviously retained their Division 1 status. We've seen the likes of Rian O'Neill coming through, Oisin O'Neill, Conor Herbert, Kieran Kelly burst onto the scene this year. There's a raft of young players coming through. So I suppose at minor level, while Armagh haven't been successful the last couple of years, how big is it to get maybe a first round win under their belts this year, and what would it mean for the academy as well, I suppose?
Oh, listen, it would be a great vindication of the work that's been done in the academy. Aidan O'Rourke and Paul McGree and Dennis Hollywood have put tremendous structures in place there, and the coaches at under 14, 15 and 16 are leading that through now. It'll be a great boost. It's great in the senior team that you have fellas coming through now who are in their early 20s, as you mentioned, who have been through this system, have been through the academy, and we're now seeing them bed in at senior level. To make it at senior level, in essence, it's a lifestyle choice, and there's plenty of young players on this squad who I think have the capacity to make it to that level as well. Ultimately, that'll be a decision for themselves and for down the line to see how they develop. But in respect of this game on Wednesday night, this is about the under 17 group of 2021, and if they can do themselves justice on Wednesday night, we'll be absolutely delighted with it.
And obviously, Brendan, every team wants success. That's why you play. You want instant success. But the goal for the minors really is to develop these players until in 3 or 4 years' time that they're going to be making that step up that we've spoke about with Rian O'Neill and Conor Herbert, and then they've made that step up now. That's what minor football is really about, isn't it? Developing these players that they're going to be senior players in a few years' time.
Very much so, but at the same time, the game on Wednesday night's there to be won, and this is a championship. And in respect to championship football, that's about winning the games that present themselves in front of you. So we have prepared the team for this Wednesday. I have no doubt that given that the minor team, the under 17 team, is at the apex of the academy, and how the young players develop and feed into that over the next 3 or 4 years, the structures, as I say, are in place. But in respect to this game, this is a game that we're gonna try very hard to win, and a winning experience at this level, as Derry have shown in the last 5 or 6 years, is what provides an incentive for players to move on and then cut the mustard at under 20 and senior level as time goes on.
I suppose, Brendan, I'm just going to touch on something you said earlier. You mentioned that last year's game was in the first week of December, I think it was, while this is in the middle of July. Obviously, the weather's going to be so much different, and we've had unbelievable nice weather the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm not sure what it gives Wednesday night, but has it been difficult training in those conditions? Obviously, the hard work's maybe been done by this stage, but has it been difficult for the players training in those hot conditions?
Well, it has been with the hard ground, like we've trained in a variety of different venues. We've trained in David Park a lot, we've trained in Callan Bridge, we've been in Mullabrack, and we'd like to thank Mullabrack and Clonagale particularly for the use of the facilities. It's been first class. But players are suffering with maybe shin splints and blisters and stuff like that to some extent. But their attitude is first class. The other thing is, of course, if you're able to train with intensity in those conditions, then it shows that you're reasonably fit. So we would hope that I think with the temperatures are due to drop on the day of the game. So I think hopefully they have enough. Hopefully they have enough work in the bank, and we see that also their method of play. The one thing about these young men is that they're very good footballers, and it's realistically it is a game of football, irrespective of the weather conditions, irrespective of the venue, the opposition, or anything else. And they're confident in themselves, and they're confident in how they carry themselves. So, we would believe that as long as they can relax and play the game and not the occasion, that they'll do themselves justice on Wednesday.
And has the timing of the competition helped Brendan in the middle of the summer? Maybe it's been a hindrance, maybe boys away on holidays and stuff, which happens as well. But there's been no school football, no school competitions, and you maybe have full control of the boys. Obviously, they're playing their club football as well. But has it helped having this in the middle of the summer?
Well, it's been, there's pros and cons. The minor board have been very helpful in terms of the scheduling and rescheduling the games to free players up so they can train with us. Most of these players are also playing under 19, so the adult CCC have facilitated that as well. There have been players on holidays. Last week we played Antrim in a challenge game, and there was a player who came back from Kerry for that game. Another player came back from Galway from that game from family holidays. These are boys that are 15, 16 years of age, and both them and their families are making tremendous sacrifices in respect to their commitment to this group. And we can't thank them enough for that level of commitment. And as I said, then we're trying to facilitate them to develop as footballers and as young men. And that's really where we're headed. But in respect of the timing of it in the summer, listen, it's great to be playing football in the summer and at this level. And with the COVID situation the way it's been over the last 15 or 16 months, we weren't certain at all whether there'd be a competition. So we're only too delighted to take the opportunity with both hands now that's presented itself.
As you said earlier, Brendan, you only had, I think, 7 weeks from you got your full panel, that the trials, you stopped taking trials. Has it been difficult getting challenge games or getting games? Maybe it's more in-house games and training and training setup and systems more so than challenge games, has it been?
Well, Sean, we've played a combination of both. We have played some in-house games, particularly over the last few weeks. Prior to that, we've played Dublin, Antrim, Fermanagh and Tyrone. So we're happy with how they went. We also had a run out against the Armagh under-20s. So in respect of all of these things, it was very much those games were developmental to try and find the right blend and to try and find a method of play that suited us and things like that. And particularly maybe the under-20 game to show that maybe we could compete against a group of lads 3 years older, and then that we could match the advanced physicality and stuff of those players. Because we had such a short season, we haven't they haven't really been in a long-term gym program. They have done some work there for over that 7 or 8 week period, but in respect to the preparation, that's really not where we'd like it to be. But no, listen, against the under-20s, they coped okay physically, and against the other teams, they seem to cope okay in terms of football when they're playing against their own age group. So, given the restrictions in terms of the preparation and time and so on, we're happy with where we are at the moment.
That's brilliant, Brendan. Thanks for joining us and coming on and telling us a wee bit about the minor squad, and hopefully you can get a win on Wednesday night and begin the championship campaign with a good start. I just want to say before we finish that congratulations to the ladies who qualified for the quarterfinals of the All-Irelands as they topped their group when they beat Mayo at the weekend, and also to the Camogues who defeated Waterford on Saturday. And we're going to hear from Leanne Donnelly now, who was part of that team and scored 2 points in her side's win on Saturday. So, Brendan, thanks very much for joining us.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Pleasure.
Well, Leanne, a good win to start your All-Ireland defence this year.
Yeah, definitely. With the weather that was in it, it was touch and go for the first few minutes, but then we finally got our first touch and started getting the points over the bar, which was the main thing.
And what was it like playing in that scorching heat?
Oh, it was tough going with training there last Sunday, and the weather was similar to this, and it was just getting the water on board, ice everywhere at half time. It was tough enough going, but thankfully we got over the line in the end up.
And you've had a great year so far. Obviously Ulster champions. A couple of weeks ago, he's made the Division 3 league final as well. It seems to be going good.
Yeah, Armagh Camogie, it's definitely on the right foot anyway, so hopefully we can continue. So now we'll meet Wexford in the second round now in 2 weeks' time, so hopefully we can keep our winning ways, hopefully.
And that's Wexford. They've already beat you twice, unfortunately, in the league.
Yeah, so
bit of revenge, maybe.
Well, hopefully, but we'll just play our game and hopefully we'll get over the line again.
On that game today, I think you were level at half time. You've probably come into this favourites to win the game.
Yeah, well, we didn't really know much about Waterford initially, but they're a good team. They showed themselves in the first 10 minutes, and then we had to get our foot in the gear, and thankfully, and this is coming into the second half, we got the first few points over the bar the second half, so then we kept on going and just kept pinging the points and got 2 goals there as well, so definitely helped us.
And is it difficult coming in? You said you didn't really know much about Waterford. I don't think you've played them much in recent years.
Not in the past from what I've played since, but personally I don't really mind not knowing what I'm facing. I think it's better not knowing, because they maybe don't know too much about you either, so it's just man for man and play your own game.
And your own game, Leanne, you've sort of changed from last year. You were in corner forward and you've come out centre half forward and midfield now this year.
Yeah, so I'm moving my way out. Hopefully I'll stay in the mid, not anywhere near the back line, but no, I'm glad to be out in midfield, just getting out and roaming and playing good ball into the forwards.
And you're still getting the score sheet as well.
Yeah, luckily 2 points for the day I think, but it's all a team sport at the end of the day.
And Molly Lennon has obviously come in this year in a big appointment for Armagh Camogie.
Yeah.
How's his influence been the last couple of weeks?
Oh, brilliant. It's just he's something else, like just everything he says is so motivational, and you just want to go out and play your best that you can possibly play.
And he's got a couple of the more experienced heads back in now.
Yeah, so the likes of Bernie, Colette, Shelley, Grania, Kira was kind of there since the 2016 All-Ireland final team. So we're nearly back to the starting 15 that would have been there, nearly. And then Kayla Casey, she's back in as well. So we're on the up, so that's a good sign.
And finally, just what can we expect the next day out against Wexford now? As we said, they've beat you twice. It was 2 close games. I think it was a point and maybe 2 or 3 in the final. So what can we expect?
Yeah, in the final it was 2 points, so it's neck and neck just until the final whistle. So hopefully we'll just get out to play our game. Don't let the fact that they've beat us twice get into our heads at all, and just go out and do our best and hopefully get over the line again, as I said. So it'll be an interesting one anyway, so 3rd time's the charm.
Great, Leanne. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, all the best.